All right, so we are now on day 3 of greater than, less than, and equal to. This is just a 3-day lesson. Your test will be tomorrow. So I am not making you take notes today unless you just choose to. So what I am going to do is just go over what I think will be the toughest problems for you. So if you get a problem that says put these numbers in order from least to greatest or least to greatest or greatest to least, you have to rewrite the numbers and line up the decimals. All right. If you choose to put it in a place value chart, that's fine. But you do not have to make it a place value chart as long as you line them up. I was noticing a lot of people were having problems with whole numbers. All right. If this was $9, we would write 9.00. That's how it doesn't change its values. If we put the decimal in front of it, you're looking at 90 cents. All right. So you have to put the decimal behind it. So if I line up these decimals and keep everything lined up, in columns. Okay, so everything is nice and lined up in columns. Then I'm going to go back in and make everything have the same decimal spaces. So this one has tenths and hundredths. This one has tenths and hundredths. This one has tenths, so I'm going to give it a hundredths. This one has whole numbers. It has 1, so I'm going to make it have a tenth and a hundredth. And now they all have 2 decimal places, 2 places after the decimal. Adding zeros after the decimal at the end is not going to change its value. And then I just put them in order. If I go least to greatest, well, 9 and 9 is big, 8 and 8 are small. So of these two, 8 and 8 is the same. 9 and 1 is smaller. So to start writing it, I would rewrite it 8.19. Okay, I know I'm not on my line there. Sorry about that. And then this one is done. Sometimes I even write number 1 out beside it. I'm going to list it first. Okay, then we go to the other 8. So if I list it, it'd be 8.90. Oh, I just made a mistake. The 0 I added, so I do not write it down. I write down the original number. Now it takes me to the 9s. 9 and 9 is the same. 0 and 0 is the same. 0 and 2. 0 is smaller, so that's the next one I write. But again, I write it just like it was in the original list, which is 9. And then it takes me to my last one, 9.02, 9 and 2 hundredths. And that is how you list them. Okay, you need to write them up and down in a column. Keep everything lined up. When I put my marker down, all my 1s are in a line, all my decimals are in a line, all my tenths are in a line, all my hundredths are in a line. And that makes it easy to compare apples to apples, which is 1s to 1s, tenths to tenths, and hundredths to hundredths. You cannot compare 1s to 10s. You cannot compare 10s to hundreds, and you cannot compare tenths to hundredths. You have to compare the same place value to the same place value in order to actually determine greatest to least or least to greatest. So this is least to greatest. Greatest to least would be exactly opposite. So that's the first thing I wanted to review. The second thing I wanted to review was when you have something that looks like a list of comparisons. Okay, so I want something between 6.1 and 6.2. And honestly, it looks like there's nothing there, but we tend to forget that we can have as many numbers after the decimal as you want. So if you made this 10 and 20, then that would allow you 6, 11, 6, 12, 6, 13, all the way up to 6, 19. All right. I just didn't write 6, 14, 15, I should have 18, 16, then 17, 18, and 19. All of those are between that. If you add even another 0, so if we went from 6.1 and added 2 zeros, then you're looking at all the numbers between 100 and 200. So 6.101 all the way up to 6.199. All right, so technically that's 101 thousandths, and that's 6 and 199 thousandths. But sometimes it is easier just to look at between 100 and 200 and just put the whole number in the decimal in front and say between 100 and 199. And on this, it's the same way. If I say between 10 and 20, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all those make sense then. Because these zeros after the decimal don't change the value. It only changes how we say it. But the value is technically the same. It's the exact same value. So there's a lot of different numbers in between. Now, when you are given choices like A, B, and C, then you need to look at your options. So I'm going to give you another one. Okay, now at this time, this one has 1, 2 places after the decimal, and this one has 1, 2, 3. So let's look at some of our options. Now with this, you literally need to look at all the options systematically and make the best choice. Anytime you have multiple choice, you need to look at all the options and pick the best answer. Okay? So, I'm only going to do one at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do when I'm looking at it, I'm going to write 7.25, 7.302. All right. Now I look. This one has 1, 2, 3. This one has 1, 2. I'm going to make, and my answer that I'm looking at has 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make all of them have 1, 2, 3 places. So that means I have to add a 0 here. Now I ask myself, and again, let's cover up the sevens. Let's make it easy. What numbers between 250 and 302? Well, is 205 between 250 and 302? No, it's not. Process of elimination means that's not my answer. And I move on to the next option. Okay, the next option. Right now, this one has 1, 2, this one has 1, 2, 3. I always make them all have the same, so I have to make them all have 3. So that brings us back to 250, 302, add 2 zeros, that makes this one 400. Well, 400 is not between 250 and 302, so that is not my answer. And I look at the next one. Okay, this one has 3, that one has 3. Since I've already wrote it, now that one has 3. So 250, 300 is 273 between, bigger than 250 and less than 300. Yes, it is. Now, before I enter my answer in the computer, I'm going to look at the very last one, just in case I made a mistake. Always check all your answers. Okay, so again, I say this one has 3, this one has, well, it has 2 and I made it 3, this one has 3, and so I need to make my last choice have 3. So I'm trying to decide, I'm trying to get all this in one shot, a little challenging. So I'm trying to decide if, sorry guys, if 310 is between 250 and 302. Well, 310 is bigger than 302, so it is not my answer. I only had one correct answer, so on this one I would choose C. So those are the problems that I think will probably be the most difficult or will be the most difficult tomorrow on the assessment. Good luck on the worksheet where I'm getting ready to assign you. And I am going to, just in case anybody needs a, sorry, my camera is messing up. Okay, I'm going to give you a basic one just to end with, but I think most of you are getting this. Okay, greater than, less than, or equal to. Line them up. So I'm going to rewrite it 1.7, 1.70. 1 and 1's the same, 7 and 7's the same. Nothing is the same as 0. So nothing and, or is not 0 and 0 the same, so these two are equal. Okay? Now, I'm going to do one more. Again, I'm going to rewrite them and line them up. 1.85, 1.58, 1 and 1's the same, 8 and 5, that's where they're different. 8 is greater, so it's going to eat the 8. So 1 and 85 hundredths is greater than 1 and 58 hundredths. All right, that's your last review. Good luck, and I will move on to the worksheet.